Hello guys, it's Mixmaster Monks here. I'm going to show you guys how to do some mastering today. This is a pop song. The artist would like to keep their name off the record. Don't mind that name at all. But anyways, so this is typically mastering. I mix the song. I mix the song the way I wanted to. I'll play you guys the before and play you guys the after and show you guys what I did to get to those steps.
I just want it all for the sake of balling.
Industry Ready Production, psbeats.com.
I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. Wake me up, wake me up. Wake me up when my dreams are for real. Wake me up when my dreams are for real. Wake me, wake me, wake me, wake me, wake me, wake me when my dreams are for real. Say all my feelings, get paid, that's how I feel. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all.
You guys get the idea, but anyways, notice I was around like halfway on the meters here, you know what I'm saying? Good mix, good mix. A little bit too much top end. It's mix. This is an old mix, guys. I'm trying to get you guys stuff, but like a lot of stuff I'm working on right now I can't leak, and I don't know, this person allowed me to do it and keep their name out of it. If you guys like the song, tell the person I should tell them to put it out. Leave comments about that. Anyways. I went into my Ampex, got a little bit of color, so I'm going to turn that on and show you guys the before and after. This is just like tape saturation and magnetic tape. Back in the old days, everybody used to record to these tape machines. There was no such thing as Pro Tools and the AWs. So this has a crazy certain color to it, and UAD emulates the Ampex very well. And this is my go-to plugin first in my chain to give it some like saturation. Usually I do this on a lot of urban, hip-hop, and pop tracks. Sometimes even rock. I like it on rock. Sounds good on rock. Okay, so turn that on.
All for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling.
Industry Ready Production, psbeats.com.
I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all.
So you guys hear how it adds that color, it brings up, you know, that power. That's that ATR crazy Ampex plug-in chain. So you control the reproduce, the record, the tape, the kind of tape you want, 456, 250, the inch of the tape that you want. Like, you can calibrate it. It's crazy. Like, this plugin's amazing. You guys do your research and read about it. Again, I went into an inflator by Oxford. I could have used the UED version. I just have the stock one too, so the native one, so I could use that one. So actually it's not stock, it's from Oxford, but anyways, this is just adding some more saturation, you know, and I'll play that for you, and you guys can hear the before and after on that too.
For the sake of all, I just want it all for the sake of all.
Industry Ready Production, psbeats.com.
I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of ballin'. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of ballin'. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of ballin'.
Obviously, you guys heard that big lift. It's like kind of like the ATR. Sometimes I use them together. Sometimes I just use one or this one. It's up to you which one, or use both. Then I go into my REQ where I took out some of the mid region around 400, 500, 300, 200, right around 68. I gave it a boost and some more bottom end, I didn't compensate for any of these moves because I kind of wanted them to stand out. It looks like there's like a little dip here going to around 1K. Probably it was probably really harsh or something boxy in here, and a little punchy in here that I didn't want. And I pulled out some presence a little bit and gave it a little bit of a shell, but nothing much. Kind of like just to balance out the track with some stuff needed in EQ. Basically, you know how you guys gotta look at EQs. EQs are frequencies. That if you want to hear a specific frequency, what do? You pull it out more. If you don't want to hear it, you know what I'm saying? Cut it. Small cuts are better than, wide cuts, and broad boosts are more musical than like narrow boosts. So you guys play around with EQ. Just keep EQing over and over the instruments, and you guys are going to learn what EQ is. I'm going to teach you guys specifically what EQ and compression does, and all that good stuff later, but I'm just showing you my typical mastering chain. Sometimes I do it differently, but this is how I do it. And now I'm going to go into the BX EQ, where I turn it into solo, where I'm just listening to the stereo image, the stereo width of this track in stereo. You're just basically, when you turn it in stereo, you're hearing it in stereo. When you turn it into mono, you're hearing it in mono. That's basically it. So here, I'm just going to show you some of the moves I did in stereo, before and after.
Industry Ready Production, psbeats.com.
I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of ballin'.
Took out some of that frequency. Took out some of this frequency because it's a little harsh. Added some bottom end. Boom, 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 boom. You can hear that. It's nice. And I'll show you what I did in stereo again. Added some of this in because to compensate for what I took out here. Took out some of this again. Took out some of this. These are some typical things you're just looking for. But like I said, it's pretty big right there, so I'll show it to you again.
For the sake of all, I just want it all for the sake of ballin'.
Industry Ready Production, psbeats.com.
I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of ballin'. I just want it all for the sake of all.
So it's making it huge, you know what I'm saying? And just pulling out those certain frequencies that I want, so I can press it. And I know I've been killing this. Like I'm at the involved in the loudness wars at this point for this song per se, not other songs. I try to keep them as dynamic as possible, but I guess this song you kind of got. It's one of those songs you gotta crush. So I just have a compressor on it controlling all that stuff.
All for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling.
Industry Ready Production, psbeats.com.
I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all.
So going from this EQ, the BX EQ, into the SSL, you notice that EQ, coming from that EQ, everything's so hot, and the SSL is kind of controlling it, taking the loud parts and trying to bring them down to match with the low parts, even though there's barely any low parts. And it's controlling the track a little bit, and it's controlling the attack and release, and just tapping it. But I rather not just tap it here and do a lot of gain reduction more than tap it on other tracks that sometimes you just have to tap it on the master, like 1 dB and stuff like that. But I remember I worked with an engineer that used to push compressors into like in the chain, like lower into the chain to like push it into like limiters and stuff like that. I kind of pushed that EQ because I felt like I could have pulled out so much things like that bottom end, take away certain things and just clean it up. It was such a clean up EQ that it brought out some stuff, and I pushed it a little bit more with a little bit gain and width. And you know, I just wanted the SSL and I had to compress it a little to control it. Now I wanted to go into an EQ and kind of clean up what maybe the stuff, some of the stuff that I felt like the compressor did to the mid range of the song. And I took out some 375 hertz, and I added 669 hertz right there just before I added 1K, sorry, and I added 3,750 kilohertz, and then 11,025 kilohertz right there, guys. So basically, you know, like a little shelf here, you know, a little presence, a little edge, more edge, and took out some of that mid-range I didn't like.
All for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling.
Industry Ready Production, psbeats.com.
I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of.
Good level there. Good. That's how I look at that one. Like good taking care of all this shit without adding any color, because this is a linear phase EQ, and this linear phase EQ doesn't add color. This is just gonna simply correct a little bit of the mistakes that you miss. Just joking around. But anyways, let's go into the S1 where I added some width. This is the S1 from Waves, added some width.
All for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling.
It added width, it added depth, it kind of put the track in perspective. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on that. It's a pretty easygoing plugin. Then I go into my L2 and I am just pulling down the threshold, and as I pull down the threshold, the track's ceiling is going to come up, making the track thereby louder. And then I put my output ceiling as 0.2, so it doesn't hit 0.1 and possibly peak into 0 or peak to 0. But maybe this track might have peaked. You never know, because I've been killing the loudness wars on this. I'm just showing you guys some typical mastering chains and how it gets down. You know, certain things, everybody's different. Your record's going to be different. What sounds good is good. Try all these different chains. Try some plugins you have. You could even use stock stuff to get good stuff. I'll use stock stuff in a tutorial next time, and I'm just going to show you guys the final last result and sign off. So again, underneath me is going to be where you can find me on Instagram, where you can find me on Twitter. subscribe for more videos. I'm gonna be dropping videos almost every day, almost every week, almost whatever you guys make it, so I can be able to keep working. The more you guys work, the more you guys follow, I'll be able to put out more. The more you guys get back to me, the more I'm gonna get back to you, because we're friends. And let's work. Everybody's hitting me up now to work and contacting me, even guys in my own city, which is good. I'm from the 6, holla at me. And I gotta say, fuck over. But let's get it, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm signing out. Last track, you're gonna hear it.
For the sake of all, I just want it all for the sake of balling.
Industry Ready Production, psbeats.com.
I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. Wake me up, wake.
A quick before and after. I'll show you guys some before and after, all the processing quick, and then I'm signing out. I'll just go halfway to the track too.
It all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for.
And I'm gonna show you guys with the plugins on. As you guys can see, I just bypassed it quickly. I'm putting it back on.
It all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling. I just want it all for the sake of all. I just want it all for the sake of balling.